Walk her down the valley, pack a piece of heaven for the bottoms of her feet. Teach her how to jump and how to stretch when she reach, like the angels do, and you gon' make it through now. Tell about the healer, greater is the one within, and call him as the leader. Teach her how to hold a pretty hand up to the sky, and have a wait upon the giver, he'll deliver like a dealer. Take her higher.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, daughters and nobles across this great domain. My name is Honorary Past Imperial Commandress Simone Hall from Oral Court Number 20, Oasis of El Paso, the big country of Texas, and I am honored and privileged to introduce our 50th Imperial Commandress as she comes and brings her May edition of the From the Desk, Dr. Karen Wright-Chisolm.
Yay! Thank you, Daughter Simone Hall. Greetings and salutations. First of all, let me begin by saying to each of you, daughters, nobles, family, and friends, thank you for the many acts of kindness, monetary gifts, gifts of love, support, and words of encouragement that you displayed during the 50th Imperial Commandress's testimonial held in the beautiful historic city of Charleston, South Carolina, my home. It is my hope that everyone enjoyed themselves. My only regret is that I did not have an opportunity to greet each of you individually. Please know that I appreciate each and all of you collectively. Please know that Charleston, South Carolina, and the home of your 50th Imperial Commandress will never be the same again. Again, I say thank you and love to each of you. A special thank you to my husband, my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and my entire family, blood or not. You know who you are, for all you did and continue to do to make my tenure an absolute success. Your commitment and support is a testament of the honor bestowed upon me as the 50th Imperial Commandress. There are not enough words to ever express how honored and loved I felt, seen and being surrounded by all of you. Thank yous expressed is more than the number of words. It is more than I can utter and more than I can ever show. Many of you have heard me talk about Drinking from the Saucer by John Paul Moore, because guess what? My cup has overflowed and it continues to overflow. I thank God because he keeps blessing me and allows my cup to overflow even when I don't deserve it. In keeping with the spirit of blessings and thankfulness, I am reminded of my fellow comrades as a veteran of the United States Air Force. On this past Monday, May 27, 2024, we celebrated Memorial Day. It's fitting and proper that we honor Americans who made the supreme sacrifice for this nation and express our humble gratitude to them and to their survivors. It is also fitting and proper that we confirm what it is they sacrificed for and why their sacrifices were and still are worth it. I digress as I think about so many members of this prestigious organization who were and who are still members of the military and veterans like myself. I realize that there is and remains a very strong bond for sacrifice and gratitude. I commend those of you who remain to continue to carry on the tradition of our fallen comrades, our sisters and brothers that sacrificed their lives. And then I ask that we continue to honor their lives as well as honor the commitment we made not only for this, our country, but that we continue to emulate the characteristics of sacrifice and gratitude, not only on Memorial Day or Veterans Day, but every day that we are alive. For some of us, we understand that it's not about us. It is the fact that we have the freedom to celebrate the holidays is why we risked our lives. For some, it's a personal day to remember those who died for freedom for all of us. Remember the meaning of the day. There are people out there that are serving now, that are giving up a piece of their lives so that we continue to have freedom. Let's not forget who we are and whose we are. As we are working diligently, let me remind you that the Imperial Court Divan continues to work hard to be transparent and complete the work of this Imperial Court. Please know that it is very hard to move on when daughters continue to be disrespectful to one another and disrespectful to the seat of the Imperial Commandress. As I stated before, as a leader in this organization, I have led as a leader in the United States Air Force for over 27 years. Many of you say, what does that have to do with the Imperial Court? I say to you, it has a lot to do with my leadership characteristics and my leadership style. Because I have served, it is hard for me to separate the characteristics and style as a leader in the Air Force, which is also an organization, and leadership in the Imperial Court, an organization, because of my philosophy of a leader. Don't get it twisted. Leadership qualities and characteristics are a part of who I am. Thanks to the many years of training and experience while serving in the military, I am thankful. Leadership is molded not only in my mind, but in my heart. Knowing and understanding that what I believe and practice has nothing to do with the fact that I am no longer in the military, but I am in a different Air Force as I lead this Imperial Court. My philosophy and my set of values and principles helps to guide my decisions and helps me to navigate through challenges. As I continue to pursue excellence through the challenges of change, I assure you that my leadership behaviors and decisions will always be consistent and will always hold true to my commitment. Integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all I do. As I stated at the beginning of my tenure, that I would do everything in my power to change the look of this organization and would work tirelessly and diligently to brand this organization globally. The name of the Imperial Court Daughters, auxiliary of the ancient Egyptian, Arabic order, nobles of the Mystic Shrine of North and South America and its jurisdictions incorporated. I'm working hard to brand that name globally across the entire United States, overseas, and abroad. I have received several, but in all truth, one complaint that was voiced. However, I've been around long enough to know that just because I only heard one complaint, that does not mean other daughters aren't questioning or talking about it. So let me clear the air. There seems to be some chatter about my attending the NAACP Image Awards. For those of you that may not know, the Imperial Council, as well as the Imperial Court, have been making donations to the NAACP for over 50 years. The Imperial Council has attended the same Image Awards for years. I'm not completely sure, but from my knowledge, this is the first time an Imperial Commandress has attended. As I say, to my knowledge. There may have been others to attend. However, at least since I have been involved in this organization, that hasn't happened. I talk about branding globally and affiliating with Black organizations, trying to do some of the same things that our organization does. I say to you, how much will we be able to accomplish with organizations coming together in unity to make this world a better place for our children and our future if we don't ever associate, affiliate, or make our presence known? The Imperial Council signed an MOU with the NAACP a couple of years ago. That MOU included the Imperial Court Daughters as an auxiliary. It is my duty to make sure and assure that that MOU continues to be a part of the Imperial Court Daughters for as long as I can. By attending the Image Awards was merely to establish an opportunity to make our presence known for future collaborations with the NAACP. Hopefully, I have cleared your mind. However, if I have not, feel free to email me or contact my office for further discussion. Other affiliations that I have started and hope to finalize prior to Imperial session are the National Council of Negro Women, Jack and Jill Incorporated, International Black Woman Public Policy Institute, just to name a few. As we continue to pursue excellence through the challenges of change, I am reminded of the vows and commitments I made to God and to the Imperial Court to carry out the functions of this Imperial Court. It is my prayer that daughters know that I am here to do just that. It is my prayer that if you have any questions or concerns about anything that involves the Imperial Court, that you know that my office stands ready to address and answer. Know that if I don't have the answer, I will do my best to research and get the answer. Understand and know that nothing happens overnight. Understand and know that we must honor the process of ensuring that everyone receives due process and that we consider everyone's rights and feelings. It's not about no one individual. We must treat each other fair, with respect, and know that it is not about us. No one is perfect. We all make mistakes, and we are all entitled to a second chance, as long as we do not do anything that is illegal. Continue to be our sister's keeper in every aspect of the meaning of being our sister's keeper. We are to care for one another, hold each other accountable, lift each other up, take joy when another one grows in the Lord, and press on together until the day of the Lord. Matthew 7, verses 1 through 6 includes the verse, "Judge not, that ye be not judged." This verse suggests that people, we, will be judged by the same standards we apply to others. So be very careful of how you treat others. Be very careful of judgment that you put on your sisters. Be very careful that we don't attempt to place judgment and attacks on our sisters, not knowing and understanding that one day we may have to stand against the same judgment that we place on others. I don't know about you. I want to be able to one day hear, "Servant of God, well done." I pray that my judgment will not be based on any mistreatment of anyone else. In keeping abreast of what's going on across the domain, General Laws of Imperial Court Daughters, Part 5, the laws relative to misconduct manual, dated January 2012, is now in void. And because the Constitution and general laws dated 2021 does not authorize its use. In 2022, the Grievances and Appeals Committee was elected, and thus this committee was established to handle all grievances and complaints, and will thus advise or make recommendations for courts as to whether or not trials are needed or can be used to resolve issues. And if so, the Grievances and Appeals Committee will give instructions on how to resolve conflicts, complaints, and grievances among members within the courts. Please note that courts are not authorized and should not be having trials. Any courts that have conducted trials within the last 9 months must be advised that any actions or decisions to suspend must be turned over to the Grievances and Appeals Committee for further review. Please know that any decisions made by courts holding trials are null and void until further review of the Grievances and Appeals Committee. If a court has conducted a trial within the last 9 months, please contact, email, Grievances and Appeals complaints at doipha.org for further instructions. Remember, all daughters must be given due process. We must ensure that we follow procedures relative to how daughters are to be informed regarding matters that are important and are detrimental to the daughter's membership or livelihood, i.e., certified return receipt letters, etc. Effective immediately, candidates outside of the 100-mile radius of a constituent court or oasis are not eligible to petition for membership in that court or oasis. Keeping in mind that prior circumstances, i.e. COVID, not being able to attend meetings in person, and having virtual meetings constituted then candidates who are now daughters living beyond the 100-mile radius. Daughters created prior to this requirement are exempt. The 100-mile radius will not apply to those courts stated in Proclamation Number 1 who were given open window provisions. Those courts in the following areas per Proclamation Number 1 are overseas courts, Bahamas, Far East, Korea, Western Europe, Hawaii, New Mexico, and Virgin Islands. I am currently considering including an open window and exemption of the 100-mile radius to large states like California and Texas, where people are very spread out. Think about that. We did a lot of virtual creations, virtual people coming more than 100-mile radius while we were virtual. They were able to make the meetings because it was virtual. Now that we are meeting in person, we are finding that courts are suffering. Membership is not in the location and the oasis where they are. So guess what? We have courts falling short of being able to perform ritualistically because they do not have enough members to meet a quorum. Non-regale functions. Please be reminded that regale functions are a recruitment tool for our organization. I'm not totally against non-regale balls. However, I know that when we get away or so far removed from having functions and balls in our regalia where the public can see us and want to become a part of us, are getting a little out of hand. Next, reminder about tools for meetings. Courts and orders need to be reminded that all Imperial Court documents are copyrighted and are not to be reproduced, are not to be reproducing any printed material. Not only are they not to be reproduced, things like our ritual, our manuals are not to be uploaded to your private iPads, telephones, or anything of that sort to be used in meetings. Another reminder, Constitution and bylaws have been sent out. Hopefully, courts are engaging in reviewing and making recommendations and compiling them for the deadline to submit back to the Constitution Revisions Bylaws Committee. All judges and courts are asked to please wait for an invoice before submitting checks for 2024-2025 insurance and NCHI. They will be forthcoming. FYI, the Imperial Court will be participating in a ceremony June, I think it's like the 21st, 22nd, 2024 in Boston, Massachusetts, where the Imperial Council will make Prince Hall, founder of Masonry, a Prince Hall Shriner posthumously. There are still no new updates on the financial status of the Imperial Court. Daughters, please remember why we joined this organization. Please remember that we should and are always displaying characteristics of finer womanhood. Please remember that together we stand, divided we fall. Let's not be so quick to judge and criticize others. Remember, judge ye not, be humble. You have heard the May 2024 version of From the Desk of the 50th Imperial Commandress. I remain Dr. Karen Wright-Chisolm. So we will now open up for questions. Thank you.
So Imperial Commandress, at this time, first and foremost, let me thank you for those outstanding words of wisdom and encouragement and motivation and transparency. I, as a daughter of this great organization, truly appreciate that. And I'm going to take the latitude to speak on behalf of all daughters, and they can send me an email later. But at this time, we don't have any questions in the chat. Yes, ma'am. I'm shocked as you are. I'm just as shocked as you are. I see no questions. I hear no questions. I don't know if you want to close out with any particular quote or words of encouragement, but there are no questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I just want to let the daughters know that we just celebrated Thanksgiving service, and it was the intention to have a video on Thanksgiving service. We had a little glitch in the system, but guess what? It's going to come out anyway. And as soon as it comes out, I invite you to look at it. We have a lot of talent on that. And I just want to thank the daughters that carried out their Thanksgiving service respectively in their oases and their courts and in their deserts. Job well done. I know there was some question, I guess I forgot to mention it, about whether or not we wear our full regalia at Thanksgiving service. I don't know where the misconnect came, but if you read in your rituals, it always tells you that you are in full regalia for Thanksgiving service. So please, I'm not sure where that information is coming from, but know that you do full regale during Thanksgiving service, because Thanksgiving service is that time that we thank God for the opportunity to not only wear our fezzes, but to be regaled in our proper regalia. So when we are at Thanksgiving service, we are fully regaled. So hopefully that clears up any questions that might come about. I heard something that we don't regale for Jubilee service, and as far as that is not true, because the nobles have their Jubilee service to represent their Thanksgiving time, to be able to be regaled and wear their paraphernalia. And so we as daughters, as invited guests, also attend that with them, and we are fully regaled. So hopefully that clears up any misconceptions about anything that you have. I know in the past it's always been said that we do not wear our collars and at necrology services. And I always question, why is that? Because the nobles are fully regaled in their collars and their fezzes. So guess what? I'm doing some research to find out how we got to that point, how we got to that point, and why we're still at that point. And once I find out upon my research that it is not anywhere written or a legitimate reason why we should not wear and display our regalia during necrology services, I'll get back to you. So look for that update. Get ready. Change is coming, and we're trying to get it together. So thank you all for not thinking it robbery to come on tonight. And I pray Godspeed to each of you. And just take me up on if you have any questions that you may not want to put in the chat. Feel free to contact my office for private discussions. Thank you. To God be the glory.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good night.
Come on.
Walk her down the valley, pack a piece of heaven for the bottoms of her feet. Teach her how to jump and how to stretch when she reach, like the angels do, and you gon' make it through now. Tell about the healer, greater is the one within, and call him as the leader. Teach her how to hold a pretty hand up to the sky, and never wait upon the giver, he'll deliver like a dealer.